Welcome to Ancient Military History, a channel dedicated to providing visual representation of how ancient militaries operated and waged war, going into detail about the real tactics they used to win battles, and showing you, the viewer, how this would have looked in ancient times. In this video, we will be describing the tactics used in the Battle of Cynoscephalae that took place in 197 BC. It was the decisive battle between the Romans, led by Titus Quinctius Flamininus, and the Macedonians, led by King Philip V, during the Second Macedonian War. Before this battle, Rome was preoccupied with two separate wars: the Second Punic War between the Romans and the Carthaginians, who were led by Hannibal Barca, and the First Macedonian War, which was caused by Philip's decision to form an alliance with Hannibal. After 10 years of inconclusive conflict, the First Macedonian War was settled by the Peace of PhalaNX in 205 BC on terms favorable to King Philip, allowing him to keep his conquests in Illyria. While the war-worn Rome was still preoccupied with the Carthaginians, Philip looked east to quench his aggressive thirst for conquest. To capitalize on the gains he had made during the First War, he was emboldened to make moves against other Greek city-states, like Rhodes and Pergamum, along with other Greek city-states of the Aegean. While he had minor successes over smaller coastal towns, Philip's territorial conquest proved disastrous, as he suffered two crushing defeats at the hands of Rhodes and Pergamum in 201 BC. However, that did not stop Rhodian envoys from sending exaggerated reports of his aggression to Rome. Although Rome had just ended the Second Punic War against Carthage, they were determined to quash any other strong power from emerging. Furthermore, they never forgave Philip for starting the First Macedonian War. The reports from Rhodes and Pergamum provided enough reason to convince Rome to declare war on Philip once more in 200 BC. And so began the Second Macedonian War. Rome entered this war with two goals. 1. Completely debilitate the Macedonian king. 2. Convince Greece and Greek allies that Rome was the defender of Greek liberty, and all of these territories would thus willingly submit themselves to becoming a Roman protectorate. After several small battles, numerous failed negotiations, and little desire from the Greek city-states to become liberated by the Romans, the war would not meet its decisive end until the Battle of Cynoscephalae in 197 BC. Leading the Romans was Titus Quinctius Flamininus, a military tribune, or infantry officer, of the Roman legions who had proved himself worthy of promotion in the Second Punic War. His generous treatment of veterans after this war helped make him popular among the people, and this popularity won him consulship in 198. Furthermore, he was likely chosen because he was fluent in Greek and greatly admired Greek culture, making him a perfect icon for Greek liberty. Flamininus brought with him 26,000 men, 16,000 legionary infantry, 8,400 light infantry, 1,800 cavalry, and 20 war elephants, and a contingent of light infantry and archers from Greek city-states. Philip had roughly the same number of men with him, including 16,000 heavy infantry, who fought in the phalanx formation, 2,000 light infantry, 5,500 mercenaries and allies from Greek city-states, and 2,000 cavalry. This battle saw two vastly different military tactics being put to the test against one another: the phalanx of the Greeks versus the legionary warfare used by the Romans. As the Roman and Macedonian armies neared each other, skirmishes broke out between scouts near the town of Pherae. Neither commander wanted battle on that particular ground, and poor weather minimized visibility. So they marched parallel to each other towards the town of Scotusa in hopes of better fighting ground and food. The armies were separated by the Cynoscephalae hills. Both commanders sent scouts over the hills to find the enemy, and were equally surprised to learn that the enemy lay right over Cynoscephalae. The Macedonian scouts slowly overpowered the Romans, who then requested aid from Flamininus. He sent reinforcements, and as the Roman cavalry and light infantry repulsed the surging Macedonians, the skirmish moved from level ground to the summits of Cynoscephalae. Philip responded in kind, and soon the skirmish grew to be a pitched cavalry and light infantry battle on top of Cynoscephalae. The Roman light troops, now at a disadvantage, performed a fighting retreat back down the hills towards Flamininus and the main army. Philip, thinking this victory over the screening forces of the Romans more significant than it was, collected his encamped army and marched his phalanx to the summits of the Cynoscephalae. Flamininus formed his heavy infantry up for battle at the base of Cynoscephalae, as Philip occupied the high ground with the first half of his phalanx troops to reach the hills. The Macedonian screening force was still locked in combat against the retreating Romans. On the opposite side of the Cynoscephalae were the rest of Philip's phalanx pikemen marching to take their place on the Macedonian left. Flamininus positioned his elephants on the right wing. The phalanx troops that were to be the opposite of these elephants had not yet taken up positions on Philip's battle line. The spaced organization of the Roman maniple allowed the retreating force to escape the Macedonians, who fled in turn from the sight of the Roman heavy infantry. Flamininus thus advanced through the retreating light forces without losing stride. He commanded from his left legion and held his right legion and elephants in reserve for the time being. Philip ordered his right phalanx charge down into the Roman left. The Macedonians held the high ground and initially pushed the Romans back down the Cynoscephalae, albeit at a slow pace. As the Roman line slowly fell back down the slope, it nevertheless held the phalanx in check. Meanwhile, Flamininus ordered his right legion up the hill and charged his elephants into the still unformed Macedonian left. Unable to quickly change from the march-oriented column formation to a line formation, the Macedonian left turned and ran rather than face the approaching slaughter. The Roman right pursued, and another tribune from the left wheeled 20 maniples around and descended the slopes into the Macedonian right's rear. Now pressed from behind by this massive force, and unable to face their massive pikes to the rear, the Macedonian right broke and fled. Philip had pulled back up to the summit for a better look at the battle. Upon seeing the collapse of his right and the rout of his left, Philip fled the field. Flamininus claimed victory in an uphill battle against the previously invincible Macedonian phalanx. The historian Polybius put the Roman losses at 700 killed, and the Macedonians suffered 8,000 killed and 5,000 captured. This battle was very significant during these times, as it exposed the superiority of the Roman maniple battle tactics and showed the weaknesses of the Macedonian phalanx. Where the phalanx was sturdy and proved almost impossible to withstand from a frontal perspective, the Roman maniple's flexibility proved to be more than a match with its flanking and maneuverable capabilities. Although the battle had left Philip at Rome's mercy, Flamininus proposed generous terms, namely that Philip should abandon all of his territories outside Macedonia, but he would retain his throne. Philip was further required to reduce the size of his army, surrender his entire fleet except for 5 ships, pay an indemnity of 1,000 talents, and deposit hostages, including his younger son, Demetrius. By 196, Flamininus, the liberator of Greece, declared that all Greek states which had been subject to Philip were free of his rule, and Flamininus then established a Roman protectorate over these independent city-states. And so ended the Second Macedonian War. Thank you for watching Ancient Military History, your go-to resource for the strategies and tactics used by ancient militaries throughout history to conquer their foes. We are a brand new channel, and your support would mean the world to us. So, if you liked this video and would like to see more, please subscribe and leave in the comments which ancient military battle you'd like to see next. Until next time, thank you and have a wonderful day.